Longtime viewers know that I'm skeptical of a lot of the growth hype in artificial intelligence, but I do believe that there's going to be a lot of interesting use cases for AI as this technology and kind of the back end is built out. One of them that came out today that I think is really interesting is from Axon. Yes, this is the body camera and taser company, but it's also using artificial intelligence on the back end and will now be using it with officers themselves. This could make law enforcement's job easier and provide a new revenue source for Axon. So I want to dig into exactly what they announced and what we can kind of pull from that. I think this is another example of Axon pulling more and more valuable products together into their bundle and just drives value for the company and for shareholders long term. This has been one of the best performing stocks over the past decade, and it continues to have an extremely bright future because of products like this. My name is Travis Hoium. Thanks for watching Asymmetric Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content, and thanks to this video sponsor, The Motley Fool. If you go to fool.com/ASYM, they'll give you their top 10 stocks to buy right now. So let's get right to what they announced. This is the press release from Axon saying that they are reimagining report writing with Draft One, a first of its kind AI powered force multiplier for public safety. So what in the world does all of that mean? Basically, what Draft One is doing is taking the information that you're pulling in from a body camera and then automatically pulling it into a police report. It says that it drafts high quality police report narratives in seconds based on auto transcribed body worn camera audio. So this is information that's being pulled automatically just in the background as you were in your body camera, and that's going to help build the foundation for a police report. Now, anyone in law enforcement knows that this is one of the things that they complain about the most. Well, I've got to write police reports when I get back to the office. This is something that takes a ton of time. It takes a bunch of energy. It takes people off the street. So it's the kind of thing that really aligns with Axon's mission of making law enforcement more effective and efficient and eliminating. And this is something that can be launched at scale, which is, I think, is really valuable for Axon. Now, this could potentially reduce paperwork and have the benefit of generating higher quality reports. This is always one of the challenges when you're writing a police report. Do you remember things exactly as they happen? Well, now we're pulling information from video, including that audio, and then pulling that into a police report. They did conduct a double-blind study to compare the quality between report narratives written by Draft One and those without, and the results showed that they performed equal or better. This is one of those examples where I think artificial intelligence isn't necessarily better today, but give it time, give the system enough information to learn, and it could definitely be better in time. This is also not something that's just going to go into effect tomorrow. Officers are required to review and sign off on their reports. So basically, this is going to be like an author where it's going to write a piece of content for you. You're going to have to go in and be the editor. That's, I think, the way that it looks at it. It adheres to the audio data. So in theory, it's not making up information. Narratives are drafted strictly from the audio transcript. And these drafts, for right now, are restricted to minor incidents and charges. So this is not going to be something that's going to be in some sort of major charge or major investigation. It's going to be things more like a traffic stop. The other piece of this is going to be included in what they call Axon records. This is something that Axon has been talking about for quite a while. The ability to automatically create records using the visual and audio data that's pulled in from Axon cameras, and then artificial intelligence in the background. So again, this is another tool that's going to make the subscriptions and the services that Axon is selling more and more valuable. That's ultimately what you want to see as an investor, is that these tools get more valuable because Axon already has a leadership position in tasers and body cameras. But now if they have the software that keeps getting better with each iteration and each product development, that's what adds value for everybody long term. Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/ASYM for the top 10 stocks to buy right now. So this really gets to Axon ingraining itself as a really valuable piece of the law enforcement ecosystem. And I want to put some numbers behind this because I think this really shows why Axon is the valuable company that it is today and why it's growing as quickly as it is. The first chart that I'm going to show is Axon's revenue segments. So this is broken down into product revenue and services revenue. You can see that 10 years ago, there was basically no services revenue. This was entirely a product company, particularly tasers. They had started to get into body cameras at that point. And then they added things like evidence.com, started to layer on more and more services like that. This now includes Axon Records, which is the product that we're talking about today with artificial intelligence tools. And you can see that that growth rate is just tremendous. Now, $600 million in revenue over the past year. But let's look at how this is going to grow in the future, because Axon has really transitioned to what you call a software as a service model or a subscription model. So the software as a service revenue you can see in the dark blue segment, 697 million last quarter. But what you really want to keep an eye on with Axon is the contracted future revenue. Now $7.1 billion worth of future revenue already contracted. So this is the monthly subscriptions that law enforcement agencies have. And then they're now signing 10-year contracts, very, very long-term contracts, because this is such a key piece of software for them. And then they renew their hardware as well. You get a new piece of hardware, body camera and taser, every couple of years. But these software services are really what's going to ingrain and add value for Axon to the law enforcement community long-term. So that's why I think this artificial intelligence tool and the way that they're using it is going to be really important. It's going to be interesting to see how they advance this in the future. Transcribing and writing kind of low-level offense tickets or police reports is really nice and valuable use case, but they're going to have to increase this and improve the reporting long-term and use more and more of these artificial intelligence tools. But with that, we can probably automate a lot of the back-end services that law enforcement agencies have been doing with pen and paper for a very long time. So that's ultimately why I think this is a really interesting product and a really good use case for Axon. Now, is this going to drive shares higher? I don't know if that will be the case, and I just want to put some metrics behind it, because this is where I get a little bit uncomfortable with Axon. The price to earnings multiple on a trailing 12-month basis is 130. Next 12-month basis is 68. You go to the price to earnings multiple or enterprise value to sales multiple, 13.8. That is like a massive multiple, even just for a software company. But this is a company that makes software and hardware. Yes, I love the long-term contracts. I love the margins. I love everything that they're doing with the business, but that's a very, very expensive stock. Even on a next 12-month basis, the enterprise value to sales multiple is 11. So that's really the hesitation that I have for Axon. But from an operating standpoint, it's hard to argue with anything that they're doing as a company. And this is just another example of why they have gotten the premium that they've gotten from the market. They're making all the right products, all the right additions to their contracted solutions. And I think we're going to see that continue in the future as cameras get better, as audio recordings get better. It's Axon that's going to play a big role in making law enforcement more efficient. But what do you think about the new AI tools at Axon? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to Asymmetric Investing. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you here next time.